I am fully convinced it has never been more difficult to make a decision on what wedge brand to play because for the first time in a long while, everybody is making good stuff. A few years ago, it seemed like we were all just living on Vokey time, and when you think about why it's the go-to, they make a trillion different grinds, and their shaping is pretty much impeccable. I mean, the balance of this profile is just simply hard to beat. Of course, US Vokeys aren't forged though, and that is where TaylorMade is picking up the slack. The MG5s are now forged. Can't ignore mill grind either, which is essentially taking all of the tolerances of hand polishing out of the equation, meaning when you buy a new wedge, it is the exact same sole as the last one. Don't forget, they also have the TW grind. I don't think Cleveland gets nearly enough credit for zip core, which is essentially placing a low density core in the hosel and shifting the center of gravity away from the heel and closer to the middle of the face. In my opinion, the shaping on the RTZs was a massive step up over the RTX6, and although they don't offer a ton of grind options stock, they have one of the cheapest custom programs that currently exists, and you can do a lot to them. Then you look at what Callaway's doing with Opus SP, and this is probably the most innovative design on the entire list, maybe the coolest, with the highest CG of any wedge on the market in a two-piece construction. Also love the fact that they are now putting the face texturing underneath the finish, which means it should last a lot longer. When it comes to wedge finishes, Mizuno is pretty much clearing everybody right now. They also make my favorite cavity back wedge on the market, the Mizuno Pro T3, which won my Golf Spy's best overall wedge this year. And forget it being a CB that makes it forgiving. It is the triple cut sole. If you are scared of digging the leading edge and want versatility, this is your answer. Mizuno wedges also forged just like the MG5s. But where Mizuno kind of dropped the ball, not offering a raw finish in the T1s or T3s, Wilson picked up the slack, giving it to us in the staff models. The most underrated wedges on this entire list might just be the Ping S159s. I feel like they have flown totally under the radar, maybe because they're a Ping and just kind of boring. But the shaping on these is absolutely A1. And what they are doing with the Hydro Pearl finish is absurd, because while everybody else is trying to negate spin drop-off in wet conditions, this has been proven to add spin in wet conditions. A lot of people hate on PXG, but that adjustable weight is sick. These feel incredible and the shapes are really good as well. Speaking of hate, the ratio to love on Tacomos is literally split like 50-50, but for $100 a wedge, they did a pretty darn good job with the shaping. I'm not even a full face guy and I think these look good. Also got to appreciate that they offer a V-grind as a stock option, which is pretty unique. Of course, you also have your smaller companies. Avoda was one that I was super surprised by, but the W2 grind is probably one of the most versatile grind options that I have tested in recent memory, and essentially a higher bounce version of my custom T-Star grind. And for the psychos out there like me who basically don't stop thinking, this is probably one of my favorite designs ever. From fine-tuned, this has an interchangeable sole grind. Yes, you can literally make any grind you could possibly think of and attach it to the back, try new ones for different conditions, different techniques. It's absurd. Or if you're more of a hand ground guy, you could just leave it up to Artisan and have Mike Taylor do his thing. Tell me this shit is not genuinely difficult to make a decision on. I have an idea where I want to go, but I'm also kind of lost. Where are you guys at?